爽不会？
Hello everyone, welcome to another episode of Jaybird TV. Good morning, evening, afternoon, night, whatever time of day you're watching this, glad you're here. So getting started on a green V4, V5, just some fun movement, some bigger moves with some really good holds, which has always been one of my favorites, like especially in indoor training and climbing. I just love when there's a good hold and just some really big movement, just super fun. So just getting warmed up here, trying to have that calm, collected movement, and just once again, stoked to be back climbing in a gym. That's right, he's back. Voldemort is back. Zeke the Taco Master. I've actually been watching Harry Potter with my wife. That's right, wife, by the way. I did get married. Pretty awesome. If you're thinking about it, it's been pretty rad for me. I have been watching Harry Potter recently. It's kind of a great October, kind of a fall tradition, I guess. So, B4, V5 here with these orange holds. Pretty rad with the drop knees that you got to get in there. Just some really flexible movement. I love in the beginning how I need to go out right and really shift my weight. Pretty rad. Just really enjoyable to be forced to use more technical maneuvers on routes that normally I could power through. So I just really appreciate that. Here we have a little more dynamic route. Black V6, V7. This one requires a jump in the beginning. Nice little dyno, some coordination. And I hadn't practiced this in months. I did climb a little bit over quarantine, so a lot of people are saying, like in Germany and Sweden and whatnot, climbing gyms weren't closed that long. Well, here I couldn't climb from like March until now. So I did climb for 1 month, and it was at my buddy's home wall. And some of you watch those videos, really rad, and it actually helped me get really strong and help my technique a lot. But I did not do any jumping or anything that is dynamic. So I felt so rusty trying to do this, but thankfully I do stick it. And then have to go out right. And here I try and walk my feet up. I'm trying to get my heel in the hold there, but I cannot get it over the lip for some reason. And I attempted to toe in, but that just did not do the trick. So once again, just getting ready and hitting this dyno. Do manage to stick it here once again. Swinging wildly. And then walk my foot up. Do a nice crossover match. And then shift to that toe and just lock it in. So pretty satisfying to get that just because I was struggling so hard. But getting psyched. So orange V6, V7 here, definitely more in the crimpy realm and meanders out to the right side. So there's one orange hold just around the corner there. But kind of a burly start. Coming in up into an undercling, and I believe on this first go, I'm going right and then going up left to those crimp slots. And the crimp slots are pretty bomber. Definitely feels overhung just because where you're starting is overhung, literally, but then coming up to a flatter section. Here you're supposed to jump up dynamically and snag that. I wasn't really sure what the beta was, so I'm trying to go static, really controlled. But it's much more doable and viable to just jump. So once again, giving it a shot here, and just choose to go up, snag that right hand, and it's a good rail, plenty of room to match, and then move out right. And I sneak that toe hook on. Here I wasn't sure what to do, so I do bump my right hand, and then use the crimp to come up and match that as well. And once I'm matched on that, I can get my foot up and onto that nice rail and then move over left. And here my knee was just absolutely dabbing on that giant pink hold. But I didn't really know how to not dab on it. I don't know if it was possible not to. So I just come back the next day and just figure I'm just going to crush this thing. Nice and fresh. Endurance has definitely been a bit of an issue, so I've been doing just minute on, minute off laps, and that really does help a lot, especially if you're doing it in a more overhung, kind of pumpy spot. So now that I have the beta, I'm just cruising right up here, get my toe on, go out left, and I just kind of ignore the fact that I dab a little bit, then stand up, and then it's not really helping me, but I don't know how to not dab on that route, but it was really fun. I enjoyed it. So this is a really unique route, another dynamic one, jumping around here, and then it gets really bouncy. So that's always kind of a fun combination when you have something powerful and just a little bit accurate like that, and then something that's really bouncy. And it's key to get your right foot down low. It's tempting to hand-foot match, but then it's really hard to stand up. And then you actually walk your left foot in and then head up to those pinches. So pretty radical. Do enjoy the movement. The pinches feel oddly insecure, but they're bomber and you have great footing as well. Pretty sweet. The first time I climbed that, it was not so graceful. I did have someone help me out with a little beta though, so shout out to them. Here we are on this blue V6 V7. This one's definitely a little more doable, which is nice. There's always a spectrum. On this set, there are, I would say, 2 that are a little bit softer and 2 that are a little bit harder. So that's always nice. You don't want, all 4 to be easy or all 4 to be hard. You want to give people some hope, but not too much. Got to keep those realistic expectations. So here, working my way on the left side of the feature, and then coming up for a pretty scrunchy move, which then you stand up out of, and then just get on top of this pretty good sloper. Work your way out right. Some nice, smooth, fun movement. Enjoying it quite a lot. Everybody, please send some mad love to Thaddeus Sens. Give me some great 6 cents as always, homie. Thanks for the mad love, man. But he almost broke his foot on his home wall. So everyone send your good thoughts and prayers or whatever, good energy his way, and let's help him heal his foot so that way he can climb again. But sorry to hear it, man. That's a bummer. I broke my ankle pretty badly a few years back. So my only recommendation is just to do mobility right out of the gate. A lot of stretching and whatnot, because it'll feel pretty tight for a while. But thankfully, mine feels great now. Feels really great. So it is possible to absolutely destroy it and then come back and get full function once again. It has been done, my man. So here, working on the toughest of the orange tags here. It's definitely a crimpy route, and to get started, I'm throwing a toe hook up. Originally, I was matching both my toe hooks on there, but it is much easier to actually just start with only my right toe on. I don't discover this until later. And then I get a pretty insecure feeling heel hook, and then it's kind of a big, powerful move out right. My first go, I didn't keep the core tension, kind of spun out of it. And here I'm just trying to figure out how to throw up there. Really, you just need a toss, and the hold I'm going to is good enough to, once I get there, can really hone it in. But this route felt very precise. It definitely felt like if I made any small errors, the crimps were thin enough that I just kind of pop off. So really trying to lock it in. It did help if I toe hooked the box there as well. Pop up, really strong there, keeping my feet on, swinging over, and then working into a crimpy top section. The top section was really interesting. It looks straightforward, but what happens is as you work off the feature here and work out left, your feet are only to the right. The heel does not really help at all, and your feet below you don't help because of the angle. So here I'm trying to figure out how to get my weight and balance underneath those top 3 crimps. Just couldn't do it. Felt a little intimidating, almost a little bit scary, a little bit heady, which is always kind of silly, in a gym with a lot of pads. But when the walls get high enough and your weight is, kind of stretched out, you're like, I don't know. So here I found that if I bumped my left hand over and then crossed up, I had a much better shot going for the finish, but taking a fall there, just working the end moves. So because it was a longer and pumpier route, I just come in fresh the next day. Always feels amazing to come in fresh with the beta, just ready to crush. So toe is popping off there, but excuse me, I'm doing this really early in the morning, so my voice is a little sleepy still, so I apologize for that. Early morning commentary, just getting after it. So here I just have a lot of gas in the tank. Goodness gracious, fam. A lot of gas in the tank and able to just kind of cruise that beginning section. And here I found that if I towed instead of heeled on that high right, I actually felt less committed and therefore less intimidating, and pedaling gas the tank, so I was able to get the finish there. So that felt good. That was definitely a tougher climb, but really rad. Very consistent, which is always nice when you're coming back and you don't have as much power and endurance. So here is the pink piano match V8 or V9. It's definitely a tough climb. So it begins on 2 crimps, and what you can't see in this shot is that I have 2 feet below. There's 2 foot chips, but it was extremely difficult to keep your feet on. Required a ton of core tension and also some try hard. That was the one thing that I was really lacking, I think, was try hard on this. I don't know if I expected it to be easier or what, but I've been feeling really strong doing board climbing and really psyched on board climbing, and I need to translate that back to the black tags on the wall. In the last video, I didn't get sends on either one I was working on, and I'm used to sending at least most of the black tags, so my hubris, my pride demands that I start sending them. So thankfully, people in the gym are trying hard and inspiring me, so I do start to definitely give it some good old effort. But Sebastian was wondering, how many tries do I have on a project until I know it's not going to go? It's an awesome question. I tend to be really stubborn and try them too much. My only advice would be that, hey, what's up, Alec? My man. Strong dude, awesome guy. I would say that it's great to have a project that you need to work on for a long time. In terms of an individual session, don't go too nuts. More focus on the moves that you can't do instead of trying it from the beginning over and over. I tend to do that a lot, but I'll also cut out when I'm trying moves in isolation sometimes, just for time's sake. But really work each move in isolation. I will usually give it at least 5 really good goes. But what's super important is actually resting as well. So just make sure that you're getting the proper rest, because if it's at your max, which your project probably is, and you're tired and you try it over and over, you're probably not going to send. So anyways, back to the route at hand. So the crux is definitely coming up right on top of that feature there. It's a really tough move. It's very stabby, very precise, and easy to miss. So I actually do start hitting it here in this session. And then from that crimp, you smear your left foot and then just pop up and hit a crimp in a really dynamic kind of dead point. It's pretty interesting. This route is really stretched out and then just really stabby. Every move you're kind of just hitting and just having to squeeze and pull in. I really started to enjoy it. I was kind of frustrated at first, but of course, once you start sending, you typically enjoy it a little more. So that is the next crux for me. I have large sausage fingers, and trying to match that thing is tough. So I was really struggling with that, but you know what? That's okay. It's good to struggle. And here just trying the rest of the moves in ISO. So Annalisa had a question. She was saying, I'm coming back to climbing, haven't climbed since March. I feel you. And just feeling really weak and falling off stuff that's way below, your max. So really quick, super psyched to get this. Just a V10 at 50 degrees submission, set by a local route setter. Really awesome route. Sick hand flip in the beginning. Amped on this. I sent it this summer when I wasn't able to come into the gym and I was only doing board climbing. But I was amped to come back. I had to work it though in order to get to resend it basically, to repeat it. So anyway, sorry, Annalise, back to your question. My recommendation is to do laps at the end of your sessions. So find a spot that's gonna challenge you, but also be possible. And then do a minute on and a minute off, and do that for like 4 or 5 minutes at the end of each session, because you're definitely just lacking the familiarity with the movement. And you just need to acclimate your body and build back some endurance. And then once you start to get back where you were, you can start to train and get more power. But we got Michael Bienick here, just absolutely crushing Mistake, V10 at 50 degrees as well. Just back-to-back V10 bangers. We were just going nuts in the session. So shout out to him, looking super strong. And then just also Wyoming Japanese here, one of the easier V9s in the Kilterboard. Just loving the board climbing, really enjoying it. Hitting a lot of 9s and 10s now. Kind of changed my mentality this summer when I did train with Brendan. So that's really awesome, trying to keep that momentum going and get my projects this upcoming winter, which I'm really amped about. So ending on a send. Thank you so much for watching, fam. Peace.